Good morning and welcome to Over the Vast Nurseries on another windy, blustery day. So we've gathered together a little selection of some of the plants that we're shipping out to garden centres now at this time of year, ones that we think you might like to consider growing in and around your home. And I'm going to feature a few of the ones that I think are particularly interesting, but in the meantime I'd like to suggest that you think about clicking and subscribing to this channel, because then as a subscriber you'll find that each time that we post a new video, which we're doing all the time, they will turn up automatically in your feed. Lots of really good plants, including ones that are very easy to look after, ones that are tough and hardy and adaptable, and ones that also put on a great show right throughout pretty much most of the year. And if you take that category and then apply it to this plant, you'll see that it's checking all the marks, because this is Cotoneaster Little Gem, a really terrific little ground covering shrub that, as you see, has lots of these very pretty dark green little leaves. That is just the start of the attraction that comes with it. It only grows less than 2 foot high, usually about a foot or 18 inches, and spreads out because it roots as it goes. These branches touch the ground and then provide little runners that then spread out to make carpets of sometimes as much as 3, 4 and 5 or even sometimes 6 foot across. So it's great for covering banks and hillsides, falling down over the fronts of walls, all sorts of locations where you're looking for something to provide this thick, heavy, sturdy foliage that needs, as I say, hardly any attention at all. Now, what's interesting about it is that, as I say, it's continually changing through the year. In springtime now, it'll start to produce little flower buds that come on all of these branches that are kind of white with a pinkish tinge. It then sets to have little red berries that look like little pearls all over the foliage in the latter part of the summer and going into the autumn, and persisting quite well too. But then in the fall, when we start to get shorter days and cooler nights, it starts to take on terrific fall color. The whole plant will turn kind of a bright crimsony red maroon shade, really good. And what's neat about it is that that color persists pretty well through the whole of the autumn and even sometimes into the winter too. So except for the really latter part of the winter or early spring, you can pretty much find something of interest right through the whole of the year. It's hardy to zone 4, so it's really tough and hardy. It'll grow anywhere within our zone. It'll grow in sun or in partially shaded sites, though really to get the densest, most compact habit, it's better out in a sunny location. And I think I mentioned earlier that it adapts well to a variety of soil types too. I find this to be really a terrific plant for putting on sloping sites. It's good for combating erosion. It means that instead of having to mow steep slopes, you can plant it with the likes of these. You would put them in at about 3 or 4 foot centers and just let them spread out and make a thick canopy of covering the ground. Really terrific little ground covering deciduous shrub. This is Cotoneaster Little Gem. I'm not entirely sure where it originated. Some people think that it's a sport of a couple of different species. Personally, I think this was probably introduced, like a lot of very good ground covering Cotoneasters, from Germany around about 1930 and certainly before the Second World War. Wherever it came from, it's certainly well worth considering planting in and around your home. There's lots of really good places where I think you'll find it will revel, and most importantly of all, take very little looking after. This is Cotoneaster Little Gem.